The church was filled with soft music and quiet whispers. Crystal chandeliers reflected warm light onto marble floors. Rows of guests sat neatly dressed in expensive suits and elegant gowns. Cameras waited. Flowers lined the aisle. Everything looked perfect. It was the kind of wedding people talked about for years. A billionaire's wedding. A fairy tale moment. Then the doors burst open. A poor girl ran inside. Her clothes were torn and dirty. Her shoes were worn so thin that the soles slapped loudly against the polished floor. Every sound echoed through the church. Conversations stopped. Music faded. Heads turned. Gasps filled the room. She didn't belong here. Everyone could see that. But she didn't slow down. She ran straight down the aisle, past shocked guests, past whispers and pointing fingers, straight toward the groom. The billionaire stood frozen as the girl grabbed his arm. Right in front of his bride, the bride's smile disappeared. Her face went pale. Security guards rushed forward, ready to pull the girl away. Guests stood up. Some laughed nervously. Others looked angry. "Please," the girl cried. Her voice trembled but was loud enough to stop everyone. "You have to listen to me. Don't marry her. Please, it's a lie." The church fell into silence. Everyone expected the guards to drag her out. Some expected her to be arrested. But the billionaire didn't pull away. He looked down at her, really looked at her. Her face was thin. Her eyes were tired. But there was something else there too. Fear, urgency, honesty. "What are you doing?" the bride snapped. "Get her out of here." The girl reached into her pocket and pulled out an old phone. The screen was cracked. The edges were chipped. She pressed a button with shaking fingers. "Just 5 seconds," she said. "That's all I need." A woman's voice came from the phone. It was the bride's voice. Cold, cruel, laughing. 0.5 seconds passed. The billionaire's face changed completely. His color drained. His hand began to shake. His world collapsed. And nothing was ever the same again. The billionaire's name was Adrian Cole. He was 42 years old and had built his empire from nothing. Hotels, technology companies, investments across the country. His name appeared in business magazines. People called him brilliant, powerful, untouchable. But there was something most people didn't know. Adrian Cole had once been poor too. He grew up in a tiny apartment with a single mother who worked 2 jobs. He remembered nights when dinner was bread and tea. He remembered embarrassment, hunger, and being ignored. That was why, when he became rich, he started a foundation to help people who had nothing. He believed success meant responsibility. After his wife died years earlier, Adrian buried himself in work. Loneliness followed him everywhere. Then Clara came into his life. She was beautiful, confident, and charming. She smiled at charity events. She spoke softly about helping others. She made him believe in love again. What Adrian didn't know was that Clara was lying from the beginning. The poor girl knew. Her name was Lily. She was 13 years old. She had been homeless for almost 2 years. Her mother died suddenly, and there was no one else. The foster home she was sent to was cruel. She ran away. The streets were dangerous, but at least they were honest. Lily slept wherever she could, abandoned buildings, behind stores, sometimes in the old church where the wedding was now happening. She stayed quiet, invisible, forgotten. 2 weeks before the wedding, Lily heard voices late at night while hiding inside the church. She listened from behind a bench as Clara spoke with two men. They talked about marriage papers, power of attorney, bank accounts. "She trusts me completely," Clara said, laughing. "Once we're married, everything is mine." They talked about selling companies, stealing charity money, destroying the foundation. Lily felt sick. She recognized the name Adrian Cole. His foundation had fed her once, gave her school supplies. That help had kept her alive. She knew no one would believe a homeless girl, so she recorded everything, and now she was standing in front of him. The phone played more. Clara's voice echoed through the church speakers as Adrian connected the phone to the system. Guests listened in horror. "He's so easy," Clara's voice said. "Lonely rich men always are." The bride collapsed into a chair. Adrian's chest felt tight. Every word cut deeper. When the recording ended, the church was silent. The billionaire looked at the girl, then at his bride. "The wedding is canceled," he said. People shouted. Chaos erupted. Clara screamed that it was fake. Security restrained her lawyer as he tried to escape. Police were called. Adrian walked back to Lily. He knelt in front of her. "You saved me," he said quietly. Lily didn't smile. She looked tired, scared. "I just told the truth," she said. That night, Adrian made a decision. Lily would never sleep on the streets again. Days passed, then weeks. Lily moved into a real home. She went back to school. She ate real meals. She laughed again. Clara went to prison. Her plans destroyed. Months later, Adrian officially adopted Lily. Years passed. Lily grew strong, confident, kind. She helped run the foundation one day, helping kids just like she once was. People often asked Adrian how his life changed so suddenly. He always answered the same way. 5 seconds, he said. That's all it took. And Lily, she always said the truth saved them both. Adrian Cole stood in the middle of the church, surrounded by shocked faces, whispers, and broken dreams. The woman he thought he loved was now crying, denying everything, blaming lies and manipulation. But he wasn't listening anymore. The sound of her voice on that recording had changed something inside him forever. Once trust breaks like that, it never goes back the same way. The police arrived quickly. The wedding guests slowly left, some whispering, some shaking their heads, others staring at the poor girl who had stopped everything. Cameras flashed. News spread fast. By the time Adrian walked out of the church, reporters were already gathering outside. But Adrian didn't care about the cameras. His eyes were only on Lily. She stood near the church steps, holding her old phone like it might disappear. She felt small again now that the moment had passed. Her hands were cold. Her stomach hurt. She wondered if she had done something wrong. She wondered if now that the truth was out, she would be pushed back onto the streets like always. Adrian walked toward her slowly. He took off his suit jacket and gently placed it over her shoulders. "You must be freezing," he said. Lily looked up at him, confused. "I'm okay." "No," he replied softly. "You're not, and that's not your fault." He asked her where she had been living. When she told him the truth, his chest tightened. A church floor, cold nights, no safety, no one to protect her. He made a decision right then. That night, Lily slept in a real bed for the first time in 2 years. The house felt too big, too quiet. She barely slept. Every sound made her jump. She kept expecting someone to yell at her, to tell her she didn't belong. But no one did. In the morning, Adrian made breakfast. Eggs, toast, fruit. Lily ate slowly, afraid it might be taken away. Days turned into weeks. Social workers came. Papers were signed. Everything was done legally and carefully. Adrian didn't rush her. He didn't pressure her to trust him. He just showed up every day, calm and patient. Lily started school again. First, she struggled. She was behind. Other kids stared at her worn shoes and quiet nature. But she didn't give up. She studied hard. Adrian helped her every night. When she got frustrated, he reminded her that being behind didn't mean being broken. The story of the wedding spread everywhere. Clara's crimes were exposed fully. Bank records, contracts, messages. Everything Lily recorded led investigators to uncover even more fraud. Clara was sentenced to prison. Her lawyer went with her. Adrian testified in court. Lily was never forced to. She had already done more than enough. The foundation grew stronger. Donations increased. People admired Adrian not for his wealth, but for listening to a poor child when everyone else ignored her. Months passed. Lily smiled more. She laughed freely. She slept without fear. She stopped flinching at sudden sounds. Slowly, she began to believe she was safe. One night, while doing homework at the kitchen table, Lily looked up at Adrian. "Why did you really help me?" she asked. He thought for a moment. "Because you were brave when you didn't have to be. And because someone once helped me when I was small and scared too." She nodded, understanding more than he realized. Years passed quietly. Lily grew taller, stronger, smarter. She became confident but never cruel. She remembered the streets. She remembered hunger. And she never looked away from people who needed help. Adrian officially adopted her when she was 15. The day the papers were signed, Lily cried harder than she ever had. Not from sadness, but from relief. She finally belonged somewhere. When Lily graduated high school, Adrian was in the front row, clapping louder than anyone else. When she went to college, he helped her pack. When she chose business and social work as her focus, he smiled proudly. She came back after college, just like she promised. Together, they ran the foundation. Together, they helped children who had nowhere to go. Together, they proved that kindness could rewrite a future. People often asked Lily how her life changed so suddenly. She always told them the truth. "I spoke up," she said, "even when I was scared." And when people asked Adrian what the most important moment of his life was, he never said business deals or success. He said, 5 seconds. 5 seconds that stopped a wedding. 5 seconds that exposed a lie. 5 seconds that created a family. And that poor girl, she was never poor again. Not in love, not in safety, and not in hope.